Really? Oh yeah, look at that.
That is what
it must be, because I did look over and it was not there.
Big and altered.
Yep, this is an altered rock. So now we get to see, everybody wants to know what an altered rock is.
Zoom in, Steve.
That's what it looks like. So this rock originally was a basalt, just like the basalt you would see on the Hawaiian Islands. And if we broke it open, the inside of it, like deeper inside this part, basically the core of it, might be more crystalline and less altered into what these are, oxidation and sheet silicates, right? And you can see how soft they look. They're actually mushy. So maybe if we cut all the way into this rock, we might get something that's crystalline, but we're not sure. And the reason why these rocks might be more altered, because they're closer to the surface and they might get warmer temperatures or greater variability in temperatures. And that's one of the things that might help it recrystallize into this altered rock that probably won't give us an age. This part right here looks the least altered to me. But that doesn't mean the inside of it won't be mushy all the way. So this is all mush here.
So is that basically rust we're seeing?
It's rust and clay. So it's actually a recrystallization into clay. And so when that happens, it will take up the ambient potassium that's could be partially in the rock and in the marine water around it. And so the signal will be when that happened. That's what I will be dating, not the formation of the rock.
A viewer is saying it looks like rust.
It is rust.
Well, there you go.
All right. So let's see if we could find unrusted.
Ship isn't moving.
So do you think this whole area is kind of suspect then?
Yeah, it seems like both Sarah and I are seeing the same things.
All right, so we can keep moving.
Yeah.
All right. You're underneath Argus, so once you get out in front, before you move the ship.
Yeah.
No, get out in front before you move the ship. No, we're done here.
Yeah, these are almost likely altered, so we're gonna, when you're ready, we'll get moving east again.
Okie dokie. All right, so for our new viewer and any other new viewers we might have out there, we change watches every 4 hours to keep the human parts of our system fresh. And the 12 to 4, that's noon to 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And midnight to 4 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, that's us, your tectonic turtles.
Tectonic turtles.
Let's go around and do some introductions and tell any viewers that might be new, what is your role on watch?
I can start.
Yeah, okay, good.
My name is Sarah Bremer, and I am sitting in the data logger chair. I'm over here to the right. And what I'm doing on watch is capturing the screenshots of the video that we're seeing on the monitors and taking a lot of observational notes. So I'm noting what the substrate looks like, what do the rocks look like.
Looks like we're ready.
What kind of material that we're seeing, and also the fauna observations. So what kind of fauna, how dense, how diverse, all those
Get a little further out.
Observations, and then turn into a dive summary at the end.
You can get a little further out. One box, typically, I try and hold while we're moving.
And Sarah is also a geologist. What?
I am. Yes, I am. Proud of it, too.
I am Petruncio. I'm sitting next to Sarah, occasionally helping her with identifying some of what we're seeing, pointing out some helpful items that come out on the science chat.
We can stop and move if we need to.
And working with Andrea, the code watch lead.
I see where you're going.
Keep us on schedule, on track for the goals of the dive.
I think you found just the fall line up to the top.
Helping to decide when to stop and observe and when to keep moving.
So you'll probably reach the top and then start moving east
more
again.
than
okay, I can just skirt that contour line if you, if you want. What's your vision?
I don't have a vision, sorry.
Okay, that's great. We'll just keep going
I know
like
we just got to move west or easterly, so.
If you like 090, we will make it work. I'll face uphill.
Yeah, and we can also stop the ship and move. Well, that would be a northeast move, so we can get everything closer so we can be on top of the ridge.
Yeah, I think this is good, though, because that way we can have Argus stand off a little bit.
Okay. I'll keep an eye on it, so if we need to adjust,
yeah,
we can.
Great.
I believe the observations that I'm writing are going live on the website. So you can kind of see like what kinds of observations that the data logger will make.
Yep, that latest observation shows up in the sidebar on the right. When you go to nautiluslive.org, you can check those out.
Actually, apologies in advance for spelling error.
All right.
And I am Andrea Balbus, a geologist, assistant professor at California State University, Long Beach. If any of my students are watching, I am here to help identify rocks that are potentially good for determining the age of this seamount. So the geochemistry that we're looking for to make argon-argon measurements to determine the age of the rock. And I also help Emil, and we, as he said, try to keep the mission on track and help when the front row asks us which direction to go and how fast to go there. So trying to balance the objectives of all the scientists and all of the data collection of the mission.
And to sing and proclaim your love for all cute sea creatures.
As a good tectonic turtle would.
Very important part of your role. My name is Kim Weaver. I am sitting in the Science Communication Fellow Chair, and my role on Watch is to read through your questions that you submit on our website and bring them up when we have a chance. I also post status updates to the website to let you know where we are and what we're doing. And I'm also flagging video highlights for our team back on shore so that if something spectacular happens, I can rate it anywhere from a 1 to a 5. And those 5s, they get emails. If we see a 5, then they know to make it a highlight and post it on the YouTube channel as quickly as possible. And my other part of my job is to be very excited about everything.
And as she said once when she saw whales, she's never closing her eyes again.
That's right. I've never had FOMO this bad in my life.
It's quite the cliff.
So in the front row, this is Steve in the video chair. I am responsible for controlling the 2 main cameras on Hercules and Argus, the iris, the zoom, and the focus, and mixing the audio levels on our science party line, so hopefully everyone at home can hear us all, and also switching cameras on the different feeds, so show computers or different cameras around the ships and the ROV, and that's most of what I do on Watch.
And in your free time or the other jobs that you have?
And we're also documenting everything happening behind the scenes. So filming footage of in the van, filming footage of launches, recoveries, sample collection, sample processing, and tours of the ship, and all that fun stuff.
Yay. And Steve is a very good observer. He finds things that we don't usually notice. So he's I would say he's part of the front row and the back row.
That's right.
Utility infielder.
I'll take it.
Oh, look at that guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a big version of what we saw earlier.
That's a.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe if we zoom, we might be able to see the attachment a little better from this angle.
I'm just perched backwards here. I'll get down there.
No worries.
A hold.
Yeah, he does look like the same kind.
Yeah, just like a koosh ball or something,
Yeah.
or a dog toy. Okay, go for zoom.
Okay, this guy doesn't have a mouth either.
Yeah, weird.
That's where my koosh ball went.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
now
lost it in the 80s and here it turns up in Papahānaumokuākea.
maybe his arms are so big and he has so many, he just has a really small mouth.
Yeah.
It's not one that we can see, I think, Emil is.
Okay, it looks like this move's going in.
Yeah, I was gonna get the bridge or the ship moving east again.
Okay. Oh, you're just getting us a little bit farther
Yeah,
up.
just
Okay.
a little higher up the
I
ridge.
still haven't found a great rhythm for where I want to be on this slope. It seems kind of irregular still.
Look at that bright sea star.
Ooh, that's a pretty one.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was Actinus, still some type of it. The sea star, yeah, no idea there.
All my marbles are in the wrong place. Okay, go for zoom on this profile shot. This is the shot that'll be on the cover on the heads of its coin. It's a nice regal profile. Okay.
Color is amazing.
That's not great.
No, we're not going to be able to tell much.
I can do
there.
better. Sorry.
Look at it in its armpits. But
How rude.
Okay, I really want to optimize this a little bit.
Bridge, nav.
Figure out how to
Let's
move
wait
with
on
Argus.
the move, Kate.
I was gonna all stop.
All right.
Can
Okay.
we all stop, please?
Oh, nothing. I thought she was going to move. I didn't realize we were still moving. I thought we were stopped.
So roll call stalled out at Steve. Anybody else in the front row want to say hey and what their role is on the watch?
I just came to an all stop. What are you seeing? Do you want to keep following your nose? Okay.
it's like a black coral up there.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, then let's move. I'm going to do the 090 again, so we keep marching kind of up this ridge.
Looks good.
Towards the summit. You ready for it? You got it. Bridge, nav. Stand by. I really want to say something. Stuff your sorries in a sack.
It's still funny. It's still funny.
Okay.
It's so funny.
Funny yesterday, funny today, funny forever.
That's my one line.
Okay, I have to think about why
have
this
others.
isn't working right. Okay, so I think, so you're going to move 090. I have to think this through.
Thinking too much. Go. Go, go, go.
But I'm facing downhill. So if you just keep moving downhill, I'm going to be downhill of Argus.
Look at Argus bathymetry and
yeah.
Fly that. Go somewhere. Getting really bored over here.
Well, you could introduce yourself to fill the time.
I'm Dan. I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs in the Argus chair.
Okay.
And what is the Argus chair for our new viewer?
I'm operating the Argus ROV and also the winch, so controlling the depth and heading of Argus, trying to
Bridge, nav.
keep an eye on things.
Yeah, Herc, if you want, or you want to
Can we
come
move
to the right to climb,
meters,
that's fine.
bearing 090.
Because you might actually be on, you know, just to the left of the ridge.
Yeah, we have some sonar targets there in Argus that
I see.
could be interesting. So.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, it looks like it gets pretty steep.
Huh. There seems to be a lot of micro relief going on.
Yep. It's going to be a bumpy summit.
My name is Kate, and I'm in the navigator's seat for this watch. So I'm working with the Hercules and Argus pilots for moving the ship and reading the topography and getting us where we need to go for the science to happen. So also working closely with the scientists in the back row to understand what their objectives are, where they want to go, and yeah, move us forward.
And she's quick with an entertaining line.
Got one.
I think you got more in there.
That's a good distance. I have to wait.
Whoa, that's a big old sea star.
Yeah.
Crinoid maybe? Sea
Yeah,
star?
I think it might.
And a little Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, is that a Dr. Seuss?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the like bright yellow.
Yeah, I wonder if he's a pigmented Dr. Seuss.
So this Euphemia seamount has two peaks. We're visiting the northern one. So it could have been two volcanoes or rifts on the same volcanic feature.
That is a really bright sponge, and I'm wondering if that's a pigmented sponge that Chris would like to know more about.
Okay. Let's find out.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's up and around.
So we definitely want to get some good images of
Yeah,
it.
You
we'll
can go
zoom
for
in.
zoom.
Yeah.
Looks like a highlighter wearing a hat.
It's really cool.
It is really cool. It might be one of those ET looking sponges. Like if you get to the, see how it has that?
Oh yeah, it might be open on the other side.
Exactly.
Lasers off, please. Can we get lasers off? Por favor.
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I screwed you up. Sorry.
Yeah, this profile is similar to a profile of a sponge that when you get to, if we were to see it from, it looks like the flatter side, it would have almost like two eye type shapes, and it looks like an ET. And we call that the ET sponge.
Do you guys want to close up on the base or on the top or anything like that?
Yeah, on the attachment, I think that's usually a diagnostic characteristic.
Yeah, maybe a stalked you put.
That's a wonderful color.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, anything else you need here?
If we can get any other side of it, that would be great.
Okay, go away.
That'll be tough.
We've spotted these on other dives this expedition.
Oh, good. So he's seen the ones with these yellow stalks here.
I mean, I've seen them in the capture highlights.
Okay, good.
Yeah, look at that. It gets flat on the other side.
Oh, weird.
Such
That's
an
not what I would
illusion.
have expected.
Yeah,
Oh.
so that's, this is a Euplectellidae.
It really does look like ET.
Yeah, they do. They look a lot like ET.
We're hearing Calophacus sponge. Calophacus. Sorry for my Latin pronunciation.
Okay, go for zoom.
And I will stuff my sorry in a sack if necessary.
Appropriate use of the term.
That is amazing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, nice. You got an even tighter. That's great. It looks like it's got yellow around the rim of
It does.
the opening.
It really does.
Okay, go wide.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and get out in front here again.
So in addition to the geological goals of this expedition, which we heard a little about from Andrea earlier in the dive, we also have some biological goals to identify coral and sponges, not just species or new species, but the diversity and density of the sponge and coral communities. They have not been super diverse and dense on this dive, but we are moving up in elevation. You can see our depth on nautiluslive.org is around 1,480 meters and rising. And on other dives, we have seen increased density and diversity of sponges and corals as we rise up the sides of these ridges.
There's another one of those sponges right at the bottom of the screen with a yellow stalk.
Yep.
Oh yeah, a little one.
Uh-huh.
It's possible, yeah.
Oh, in the Argus, yeah. I was wondering about that because I was like, oh, it looks like there's features right in front and behind us.
Do you know what that coral is there that's
They turned
just
the
sticking up?
Have to take a closer look.
time variable gain down to 20 for some reason. I wasn't seeing anything, but I think the I think this is, yeah, this is real and this is real. It's just this feature right here. Yeah.
Huh.
But this is targets, and that is just that angular. Probably put a note on the red book to
Lots
drop
of
it down an
brittle
inch.
stars on it, whatever it is.
Usually did you
There's
set
that
it right
sponge
on
again.
the on the knee pad thingy? What,
Bridge nav.
when you installed it?
Can we move 50 meters, bearing 090?
Looks like it's
Thank you.
tilted all the way there. And
If you've got a time, Gabs, if you could pivot right and take a look at the coral that we passed. It's kind of some type of whip coral covered with brittle stars.
Or is that
that's
a
it.
Walteria?
Yeah,
Maybe
looks
it's a sponge. Yeah.
So we're getting a question from a viewer. We have all these animals down
Do you
here.
want a close-up of this?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
We have all these animals down here that look like plants. Corals and sponges are animals, but they do look a lot like some kinds of plants. Why are there no
for zoom
plants?
video.
Because there's no sunlight for photosynthesis.
Yeah, that looks like a Walteria sponge with dozens of brittle stars on it. They're not eating it, they're just using it to get higher in the water column so they can filter feed.
Looks
Okay.
different than Walteria.
I'm going to get cracking here.
I don't see those spikes coming out the sides. Yeah. Let's see here.
To the Okeanos Animal Guide we go.
Getting a few more sponges in this area.
Yep.
Another one of those bright yellow Dr. Seuss sponges.
Nailed it on the nav.
Pardon?
Nailed it.
Yeah, I think this is good for what we're doing.
Yeah, those targets in front of Argus look promising. Oh, yeah. Dan, can you come down a little bit?
Right.
So we're getting an IT question for maybe the pilots know this one. The software that runs your stations and helps you control the ROVs, do you know what programming language that's in, or is it a custom software?
It's a custom software written mostly in C. It's got you loud and clear.
Stand by. The front row is chatting off SPL. We prioritize their time and talk as safe exploration is our #1 priority. Keep your questions coming at nautiluslive.org and we'll get to them as we can. You can also learn quite a bit about where we are and what we're doing at our website, nautiluslive.org. The status update has a link to Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, where we've been exploring.
I wouldn't worry about it, okay. That's a 5-gallon plastic bucket.
So we'll come back to that question about the programming language once the front row is set. We'll get a couple other questions coming in here. Fungus are quite successful on land. Are there marine fungi?
I asked Beth that exact same question.
Chase it down?
She said yes. They are part of the microorganisms that she looks at in the soft rocks that she selects. So I don't see any, I don't know of any evidence of any macrofauna type fungi that we see, but she did say yes, that is part of the microorganisms in the rocks.
Back row, are you there? Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
We have a bucket that's gone over the side that's drifting away. They want to move the ship to chase it. Are you all right with that?
Okay, yep, okay. Do it.
Deck control.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, fill your boots. Move. You can talk to the bridge and move the ship. We'll just listen.
Do you need to pull Herc up some?
You can move the ship wherever you need to. Just call the bridge. They're listening on the radio. We'll let you talk to them and we'll just follow along.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, it's on the port side. It's about on the stern, so if you guys can just maneuver over that direction.
Not quite clear which way you want us to go. Move port aft?
Yeah, they want you to move the ship to the port side. Just keep moving to the port and get that bucket.
Roger. Start moving port. Okay. 220 meters port. Bridge control, do you have eyes on the bucket? Bridge control. Yeah, oh.
I think you guys are going to have to call the bridge directly.
Yeah, we are. Sorry, Mark, I was on the wrong button.
Please do keep your questions coming on nautiluslive.org. We're just taking a bit of a pause here for some topside operations.
Kate, tell them to get on the radio and talk to Mark.
Control van, are they making a move towards the bucket? Yeah, they haven't called yet. Deck, breach. Science wants you to go pick up that bucket on the port side aft.
So we're going to keep taking your questions here on SPL while we sort out this topside issue.
Got a visual on it?
We got a question from a viewer about the biological samples that were collected on the last dive.
We'll stand by.
Because we are under such high pressure down here, deep.
It's more than 20 meters, Gabby. You're going to want to go that way. Northeast.
What happens when we bring those samples to the surface? Do they arrive intact? Do they decompress and have any issues? Sarah, do you want to tackle that one?
Sure. Yeah, so I asked that exact same question. They are intact when they arrive at the surface. If they are not intact, it's not due to
keep your
decrease in
normal
pressure.
distance.
It's just manipulate our arm or maybe a rock in the same bin, but largely intact. And
right now it's at least
the
2 ship
reasoning
heights.
why, but the science manager says that the pressure doesn't really affect them coming up, the pressure change. Interestingly.
I don't know if the back row copied that. We're going to move a couple ship lengths, probably to the northeast-ish.
Yep, you guys sort it out. We're going to keep answering questions on SPL and just let us know when you're ready to resume.
We can still do science along the way. We'll just go down the hill here, see where we go.
So the change in pressure would greatly affect any animal that had air bubble, like lungs, or other air bubbles like a swim bladder, but the animals that we're collecting generally don't have that, so they don't decompress when they're brought to the surface, but they can be greatly affected by the temperature. It's quite cold at these depths, and so if they are brought up to the ship, up to air temperature up here, that can affect them, or if it's a hydrothermal organism, which we are not collecting on this expedition, it's very hot where they are, and then we bring them up and it's much colder than they're used to, so.
Correct, yes. Yeah, some of them change colors rapidly.
Yeah, Roger.
As
Tell
the
them to fill their
warms.
bits, Kate.
One of them we brought up last night was yellow when it first came out of the bucket, and maybe 10 minutes later it's like a blueberry blue.
Basically, they're free to move, Kate. They can do whatever they want.
I wonder if that has to do with exposure to oxygen. We have much higher oxygen levels up here than they have down at these depths. That data is available on the website too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, Steve talked about it being a function of the decay process.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know the chemistry
behind it. Get a little more in the bank to the northeast there, Gabby. They're picking up the speed.
So how far from the ship can Hercules travel in any direction? There's one for you, Dan.
Northeast, Gabby, northeast. We can pull Argus probably 50, 80 meters if we're really, depends on the depth too. So basically we're turning Argus into a pendulum and pulling on the wire. So the deeper we are, the easier it is to deflect the wire. But it becomes, because the tether comes out of the back of Hercules, it basically, you can't change Hercules heading. You're like a dog at the end of the leash, right? He's pulling in one direction. So your arm is kind of stretched out. And that's not a great analogy, but.
How long is the tether between Hercules and Argus?
It's about 30 meters. We have different varying tether lengths depending on what kind of job we're doing. But usually for science, we're with about a 30-meter tether. For some engineering jobs, we have like 50 or 60 meters, so double the length, so we can scoot around a little bit more. We're not so concerned with the eye in the sky as we are as being able to maneuver Hercules rapidly without waiting for the ship.
Oh, we got a great question here about art aboard Nautilus. We do have scientific illustrators and other artists on board from time to time. We have some amateur artists on this expedition, including some excellent amateur photographers in addition to our professional photographers. And if you go to our website, nautiluslive.org, and type in art in the search bar, you will see some scientific notebook work that was done by previous artists, as well as some maps. So check that out on our website.
Yeah, I saw Rebecca Rutstein's work was very interesting. She was on board on Nautilus on the way back from the Galapagos. Used the ship's motion to allow the paint to run across the canvas.
Oh, neat. Wow.
That produced the background, and then on top of that, she put topographic, topography-inspired interpretations of the seafloor. She was actually tracing some of the sonar data and then reworking that.
And I think on the next the next expedition after this one, there's going to be an illustrator and cartographer, Abrian Currington. She makes amazing hand-illustrated maps. And so you can check that out on the next cruise, which starts in about a week and a half. Sorry, Steve, what were you going to say?
I saw that Lindsay was doing some watercolors.
Yeah.
She did a really cool coral painting she did.
Yeah, there are a few people with their watercolors on board here. Emil and Andy are quite the photographers as well. Thanks for your question. There is a role aboard Nautilus for many different types of folks. There's a question here about what kind of education you need to be on Nautilus. If you go to our website and click on team, you can see that there is no one way to be on the Corps of Exploration. We all come from very different backgrounds, different education levels, and we have different roles and expertise here on the team. Teamwork makes the dream work, but only if the team has overlapping but different and unique skills as well. So if we all knew only how to do the same thing, that could be a recipe for disaster, but we all have our roles. And as well as the roles that you're not hearing on SPL, we have professional crew, we have chefs, we have our captain and our mates up there driving the ship. Got all sorts of folks.
We have the best boat mom ever.
We have a very excellent boat mom. It's true. There's also a quiz on our website. If you are interested in a career in ocean exploration, you can go to our website and in the search bar type in quiz. And you will find a quiz that might help you find a path to the ocean. So check that out.
So there are so many stories and scientific mythology that talk about the discovery in an unexpected time. So keep your eyes peeled, team. We never know what we're going to find.
Great question. Is there a doctor on board? There is not a doctor on board. We do have a medical officer who is trained to take care of us. And everyone on board has multiple roles and multiple duties. And so I believe that that's our first mate on this trip is also our medical officer. We also have the ability to do telemedicine if necessary. All right, how long can the ROVs stay underwater?
Forever.
How long can they stay functioning underwater? How about that?
Months and months. We're limited on Nautilus by the size of our sample boxes.
What about fuel to run the power?
Drop down a little and look at the hill there. I can't see anything.
Great questions. Keep them coming. We are rolling here. The ROVs, as Dan said, are limited by the samples. We have starboard and front sample boxes. And we have push cores, water samples, all sorts of ways, plus the slurp, which is like an underwater vacuum cleaner. Once those are full, we want to end the dive, bring it up to the ship and process those samples, and then send the ROVs back down. So on this expedition, our dives have mostly been 12-hour dives. We did have one 24-hour dive, which was awesome. We got to be on watch twice. And so that was cool. But yeah, for most of this expedition, it's been 12-hour dives up to 24-hour dives. And really the limiting factor is the human factor.
You're still doing half an hour there.
We work 4-hour shifts, 2 4-hour shifts a day with 8 hours in between them when our friends on the other watches relieve us. Yeah, so everyone's on for 4 hours. We're your 12 to 4 watch. And then we run local Hawaii Standard Time. And then 4 to 8, and then 8 to 12, and then it's us again. So when we have those longer dives, we just roll through the watches. And if you've been listening for, an hour or so, then you know what a watch change sounds like. It's kind of like organized chaos. We get in here, we all change seats, and our counterparts go and eat lunch, and we sit down for our 4-hour tour. All right, awesome question.
I'll drop down a bit.
So have we discovered any new species? This is a question we get all the time. Thank you so much for this question. We don't know yet if we've discovered new species on this particular expedition or not, because it can take years to make that determination. We have certainly seen some sponges and at least one sea star and a couple of corals that the scientists aboard are not sure if they are new species or not. In a lot of those cases, we try to collect a sample, and then the process takes a long time. There can be DNA analyses, very detailed analyses on those samples. So we may have discovered new species, but we won't know for quite some time. The last expedition to Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument, I believe, was about 3 years ago. Is that right, Andrea? Was that in 2018? You're not on SPL.
Yeah, 2018 was when I was out here. I think that was the last time. I know they went to the Line Islands in between.
On that cruise, they have they discovered 7 potential new species that are going through the process of being designated as new species. So that was 3 years ago, and it's still happening. So yeah, we may have discovered new species already on this cruise, but We're just not sure yet. And we might have some new species downstairs in our wet lab right now that we have collected on previous dives. Thanks for your great questions. How large is the entire boat crew? 43 souls on board the Nautilus right now. That's a mix of your science crews as well as our professional crew that is operating the ship and taking care of our needs, feeding us, that kind of thing. So we got 43 souls. We have capacity for about 50, but we are not running a full complement on this expedition. What do you do when you're not on watch? Well, that's a great question.
Sleep.
Sleep when you can, I think, is the answer. We all have duties in addition to what we do while we're on watch. For science communication fellows like myself, we go through all of the still shots and highlights to send back to our production crew in Rhode Island, and we also create lesson plans, photo albums, and blogs that will be appearing very soon on our website, nautiluslive.org. So that's what I do. I also did an Instagram takeover yesterday. They actually handed me the phone and gave me the password and let me post on Instagram all day. It was quite enjoyable. Anybody else want to talk about what they do when they're not on watch?
Sure,
and I
yeah,
spent
I'll
a very,
so data logger, when I am on watch, off watch, I am processing the samples in the lab when the ROVs come off the bottom and onto the ship. So we process biological and geological samples and the water samples that we take. It takes several hours to get all those processed in various states of drying and refrigeration. And then, yeah, largely writing reports and filling out Excel sheets and other documentation that goes along with the sample collection and dive reports. And looking for sharks and whales, always.
Always. Yeah, yesterday we were up on deck and Sarah was at the rail and she yelled shark, and the next thing I know there's like 10 people at the rail lined up. We saw beautiful oceanic white tip sharks from on deck. And we've also seen them from the ROVs when we're near surfacing, so keep an eye on that.
You can turn your head into the hill if you want, get closer. You're not gonna see it. It doesn't move through the water that fast.
So Dan, what were you saying that you do when you're not on watch?
Stand by.
Yep. Thanks so much for standing by as we continue with some topside operations. Keep those questions coming in at nautiluslive.org. Another great thing you can do at nautiluslive.org is check out our link to Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument. That's where we've been exploring, and we will be on the next cruise as well. We are the Lu'u'aea Ahiki Ika Papaku mission. That's our Hawaiian designated name for this mission. It means go down, come up, until you reach the ocean floor, and that's definitely what we've been doing here. This is our 9th or 10th dive. I've kind of lost track. And one thing that you can do if you care about the ocean and you want to help preserve this beautiful area, Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument is being considered for a marine sanctuary designation. If you go to the website for Papahanaumokuakea, you can see there that first article under news is about this possibility. And anyone can issue a public comment for the next couple of months about what this area means to you and why, what you think about this idea of designating it a sanctuary. It would just strengthen the protections for this very special area. So check that out. Oh, here's a question I haven't seen before. Thanks so much, viewers, for continuing to put your questions in as we take this pause in exploration. Do you miss land?
Yeah, I would say I miss being able to sleep without, how would I call it? The bed moving.
I kind of like that. I feel like I'm just like gently rocking in a hammock.
I don't mind it when it's the same orientation, but then when we speed up or slow down or that wakes me up. It's probably just the engines.
Yeah, it depends on like your body angle compared to which way the ship is rocking. When it rocks you side to side, it's glorious, like gentle. But the way my cabin is positioned, my bed, I rock head to toe. And that can be quite uncomfortable.
I think it also depends on which deck you're on. Like my cabin is in the lowest deck where there are cabins, and so I'm like down. I'm at the water level,
You
and so
the
I
gentle
think
rock.
Yeah, so we're louder. It's much louder down there, but we move less. Whereas you're on the second level and you're on the first level, Andrea, right? You're on the main level.
I get bucking bronco, yeah.
Yeah, so but it's quieter, but it's a little bit more like an amusement park ride.
And Andrea, your bed doesn't have like sides or anything, so you have to like constantly stay on guard for rolling off the bed.
Right, try to wedge myself against the side wall.
I don't miss the bugs on land. I was like surprised the last time I was out on the ship in 2019. Like when I first saw like bugs come back when we were coming into San Francisco, I was like, oh yeah,
bugs.
Glorious.
Yeah, I forgot, bugs. Yeah, that's the same thing I noticed when I went to Antarctica. There's no bugs.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Steve? Do you miss land?
I don't know if it's land itself.
I miss my little corgi. I don't know if she's listening out there in viewer land, but I don't miss land. I like I haven't been seasick at all, and I enjoy the ship.
I miss being able to walk around. I do go to the gym and do the treadmill and the elliptical, but it's not quite the same as land.
Yeah, definitely.
I miss home.
Yeah, I miss getting my steps too, that's true.
But happy to be here as well.
Absolutely.
Just excited for when I get to get home as well.
Thanks so much for those questions. We have had some rough seas. The mention of bucking bronco is definitely appropriate, especially the first couple days after we left Honolulu. We had to basically transit straight west, and the seas were coming from the north, hitting the ship broadside and rocking us up quite tremendously from side to side. I don't think I've ever had a more dangerous shower in all my life. I was like Bambi on ice in there, but somehow managed to get the job done without injuring myself. So those seas were very rough those first couple days, but since then, it's been okay.
Thank you for that visual.
Hey, I'm just saying, the ship was really moving, and you know, they say you have to save one hand for the ship, which means, you know, you got to always have your 2 feet and one hand on the ship, and it's hard to do in the shower.
It is.
Thanks so much for your questions. We got viewers from about 15 countries around the world joining us live. Thanks so much for sticking with us here. We have a brief pause in our exploration as we have some topside operations going on with the ship. We'll get back to exploring as soon as we can. We do expect this dive to go on for at least another watch or two. You can see if you're watching on the quad view, we've got our, is this the flater mouse that we're seeing on channel 3? This is our 3D view of Euphemia seamount, which is where our current dive is happening. We've been visiting these seamounts in this region on all of our dives. Some of them are flat on top. They're called guyots, and some of them are pointy on top. And we are attempting to characterize the biology and geology.
What computer are you pulling from for channel 3, Steve?
You're not on SPL.
Trying to sort out which computer that is.
On the Argus view, the Herc looks like he's speeding. Gabby's definitely driving it like she stole it.
All right,
I think she actually broke my record. I saw 2.4 knots there.
Really? She has mowed her in. Look at her. Zoom, zoom, and zoom again.
My record's 1.8. I've never hit 2.
Oh.
Wow. So many turtles.
And I've tried.
She's shaking all the 5-0.
So Pete from Pennsylvania wants to know, are we roughing it on the boat? Are we, how are we eating? Is it peanut butter and jelly every day?
We had burgers today.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger and onion rings.
No, we are definitely not roughing it out here at sea. We had a full Thanksgiving meal prepared for us lovingly by our chefs. It was one of the chefs' birthdays, so we also had cake and pumpkin pie, plenty of stuffing. They do feed us 3 meals a day, but because of the shift situation, there's also a snack every day, as well as leftovers. And yeah, I don't think anybody's losing weight on this cruise. If they are, it's their own fault. How rough can the seas get, and have you ever called off dives because of bad weather?
Yes. When the swells get too big, we can't lower Herc down, and it's just too dangerous. So we have to usually move the ship to another location where we can dive or wait it out.
Yeah, we did lose about a day and a half of dives last Wednesday and part of Thursday. There was no storm here, but there was a storm far to the north that was sending swell, and so we had to run south for a day and get away from that big swell. It's really not safe to launch and recover the ROVs. That's the most interesting part of the operation, is when we've got people on deck launching and recovering the vehicles, which really is not safe to do if the swells are too big. So yeah, we can miss dive time, but the good news with that is another objective of this mission was to fill in gaps in mapping. So only 20% of the seafloor is mapped, and we just don't know what is down there. For the other 80%, we have some idea from satellite coverage and other less accurate